Happy Monday! How is everyone doing today? It's the beginning of the week. It's going to be a great week. The sun is out and it's actually not freezing cold, which is. But anyway, enough about the weather. We're going to talk to Liz Garvey when she hops on. Hi, Liz.
Hi,
Thanks for joining.
I'm so excited to be on
Yes.
here. And I just heard what you were saying about how it's finally like you hear birds chirping.
I know.
The other night, my son was playing soccer, hockey outside, and I was like, oh my gosh, Colin, it's after 6 o'clock. The sun is still out. Like, this is
Like
amazing.
groundbreaking. I
I
feel like when
know.
you live in like the depths of the winter, like when we see
I
a little,
know.
like, oh, could this be it?
It sounds so pathetic, but whatever. It's the truth. It's fine.
It literally so sad for us, but
I know.
something to look forward to. We went out for a walk this
Yes.
morning and I was like, wow, I'm not freezing cold. How lovely. So yeah. So just a quick reminder for any of you who are joining that don't know why we're on live, we are going to be talking about collagen. Collagen is something that I get asked about like all the time, not only members of Her Strength, but also like my family and friends. It just like collagen is it's one of those kind of buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot. There are tons of options when you go to the store, when you look online. There's lots of information, and not all of it is high quality information, and it's also not high quality collagen. And for us at Her Strength, we're very mindful. Anyone who is a member knows that anything that we recommend, anything that we stock at the gym, are things that we've actually researched and we've looked into. We don't just stock about anything. It's really, really important to us that it is authentically good information and authentically good supplements, and the things that you actually need. So I'm really excited to have Liz Garvey on today. Liz is a nutritionist, and so she knows a lot about collagen, and we're going to talk about kind of the ins and outs of collagen. And if anyone has questions along the way, please feel free to comment below. But we're really excited to chat about this. So welcome, Liz.
Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, so first, I'm going to give me maybe some questions that like come up. I mean, I know that you said like this is always a topic of conversation for you at the gym, especially like as females. I feel like it's a buzzword. It's like everywhere in stores. You go to Costco, they're like, this is the best. It's type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. It's on sale for 19.99, and you're like, this is a
Yeah.
great deal. But in reality, you have no idea like what is going into your body. So, I mean, a topic for you, like what could be like something that's
I
typical that you
think
get?
I think probably the main question we get is like, should I be taking collagen? What is it and why is it important? And because a lot of times we do have protein in the gym, and
Mhm.
like, well, is this enough? Like, do I take protein and collagen? And what is collagen exactly? So let's start with like the super
Yeah.
basic. What is?
So collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. Like if you could think about scaffolding, when you see like a construction site and you see those big, huge beams and there's like metal and it's literally surrounding the entire building. It's what it's doing is it's like the structure, it's the supportive structure that's holding up this building. That is essentially what collagen is in our bodies. It is holding together our skin, it's holding together our joints, our cartilage, everything. The reason why we have shape and form like in our bodies and our skin, obviously your skeletal system, but your collagen, that's essentially like what it is and how much of it is in your system. So think of glue, think of scaffolding. Like those are always like really good words. I feel like paint a really good picture. It gives structure to cells. It's found in almost every single part of the human body. Obviously, we said like connective tissue, joint, skin. But the really awful thing about it is that it decreases over time. Like once you hit the age of 25, like when you're in your 20s, it starts to decrease by at least 1% every single year. So
Right.
by the age of 50, you've lost nearly 30% of your collagen production. than you had at age 20, and then almost 50% less collagen by the time you're 70. So, and then for females, like as they reach menopause, they can drastically decrease collagen production, like at an even faster rate, because collagen is also tied to estrogen. So estrogen decreases, collagen is decreasing as well. There are other factors that can also decline to it. So, like UV rays, toxin exposure, and toxin buildup in the body. I've always remember seeing a commercial when I was younger, like that's smoking, like the toxins that are in like cigarettes. Even like I remember seeing commercials about like seeing a woman's face like super, super, super extra wrinkly when she's a smoker, especially around the lips and everything. But toxin buildup and toxin exposure is a big one for the decline also. Um, and then, like I said, estrogen declining means collagen is declining too. And like you were saying before, not all collagen is created equal. And there's a couple of different types of collagen that you'll find. Like you'll see a lot on certain products. You know, you'll see it has types 1 through etc. in there. But it can be classified into a couple of different groups. And that also depends on like the sourcing and like how companies manufacture it. So you have like type 1, type 2, and type 3 are the most common. Type 2 actually can also act as type 1 and 3 combined, which is really great. Type 1 usually has to be hydrolyzed. It's usually derived from like porcine skin, bovine hide, eggshell membrane, or fish, like fish scales or like the inside of this fish skin. It's usually sold as like the powdered collagen or like in bone broth powders. Type 2 is undenatured, which means like it's not broken down, it's in its natural state. And It's mostly derived from chickens. And then you have type 3, which is hydrolyzed, meaning it's broken down into smaller molecular weight. And it's usually derived from bovine sources, so like cattle, things like that. You just have to be careful with some of those things because it's like if you're going for a fish, it's like what body of water. You know, we all know the difference between like farm raised and wild caught fish. It's like what's their diet like? Where are they coming from? How are they being raised? Are they being pumped with antibiotics? Same thing with bovine. Like, what part of the cattle is it? Ground up hooves? Like, what, there have been even like mad cow disease and all types of heavy metals and microplastics and toxins that have been found in powdered collagen of bovine because it's ground up parts of the animal that have not been tested and you don't know the purity of the product.
Gross.
It is pretty gross.
Someone had asked, is I think she said, is fascia made up of collagen? And there's collagen in fascia, right?
Yes, there's collagen in fascia, but not altogether made up of collagen because you have muscle, tissue, all different types of fibers, but collagen is absolutely in, like, makes up a lot of the fascia.
Well, so then if if we do supplement collagen, like what benefits are we going to see from that?
So many benefits. A lot of people automatically assume, skin, hair, nails, that's like the main thing. Oh, my hair is getting thin. I want to, grow back my hair. But guys, my favorite part of taking a collagen supplement is what it does for our intestinal lining, for our gut health. Everybody knows like your gut health is everything. As a nutritionist, as a new naturopathic practitioner, like I look at the whole body, but usually getting to the root cause of things is stemming from the gut. If there's inflammation, if there's intestinal permeability, leaky gut, you have to remember like our intestinal lining is kind of like our skin. So it's permeable. Like if there's pores, like we absorb water, lotion, sprays, like serums, like all that stuff. And our intestinal lining is exactly the same. It can have much thinner, weaker parts where toxins and things can leak out of our intestines into our bloodstream, cause a lot of toxin, like buildup in the body, inflammation. That's where you hear the term leaky gut come from because you have things leaking out of your gut because of weakened intestinal walls getting into the bloodstream and causing a ton of havoc in the body, sending off alarm systems, autoimmune disorders, all things like that. So my favorite part of taking collagen is, yes, the hair, skin, and nails, because it helps them grow, it helps them become strengthened, your joints and your cartilage. Even I've had people tell me the whites of their eyes have changed from taking collagen because there's collagen in the whites of our eyeballs, which is insane to think about. It's literally everywhere. But the biggest thing is gut health and what it does for strengthening and fortifying your intestinal lining, which then leads to an increase in nutrient absorption, which is key all over the place, especially when it comes to hair growth too. A lot of women experience like hair problems. And I'm like, listen, let's get to the gut first, because no matter what, if you're increasing nutrient absorption, everything is going to get better. Your hair is going to grow more and become strengthened. Your skin is going to glow because you're healing it from the inside out. So a lot of those things, like your, and in addition to that, like your gums, your eyes, your teeth, everything can benefit from taking a collagen supplement, quality collagen supplement.
Yeah. So then how do we know when we're looking for the supplement, like what exactly are we looking for?
So there's a couple things, and you have to remember too, like with a lot of powders and collagen in general, the molecular weight is too big to be absorbed, right? So a lot of times I've had a lot of people say, I can't do collagen, like it hurts my stomach, or I get cramps, or I get really, really bloated. And to me, I'm like, okay, that makes sense if you're taking something that is not, number one, like micromolecules, it's not broken down enough, because it's not going to do well in the digestive tract. When you have the micromolecules and it's been broken down to a very small molecular weight, it goes right into the bloodstream because it can pass through, which is what we want. Um, so other things you want to look for are different additives, like that you don't want. Like you don't want to see just different stabilizers and different added chemicals. And you want to see things like whole food vitamin C, because you do need vitamin C to help with the collagen synthesis. Um, that's something that's like really important. A lot of times, like, and we could address this later too, but like sometimes people will say, well, oh, I take a vegan collagen. And a vegan collagen is actually a like it's like a byproduct of vitamin C, because it's a collagen booster. So that kind of makes any sense. So like vitamin C plays a huge role in collagen production in the body. You also want to make sure that you have two other components, like hyaluronic acid and chondroitin sulfate. So when you have those three, when you have a type 2 liquid collagen, or a type 2 collagen in general, with chondroitin sulfate and hyaluronic acid, those three components actually mirror our articular cartilage. Like it mirrors what our human collagen profile produces in the body, which is super, super cool to even just know and be aware of those things. I'll always tell people, like, I have a great one that I use that has these things, but if you're looking at other ones, see if it has these other components in there, because you'll know and you'll be able to see that there is more it's more bioavailable in the body. And when something is more bioavailable in the body, it's measuring how well it's absorbed in the body. It's not really so much a matter of like liquid versus powder. I mean, there is a difference between like liquid versus powder versus capsule, but there are a couple of that I know, like a powder that I would look into, but it's a matter of how efficient the body is absorbing the ingredients that you're putting into it, if
Right.
that makes any sense. So those three components are super, super important.
So I guess like I one of the things that like I've talked to people about is like is also just as a sidebar for like, the types of collagen that are available. Um, I know people have talked about like microplastics, the presence of microplastics in some
Mhm.
of the powders, because they've been third party tested by labs, and it's like that's like alarming to
For
me, because
sure.
like any plastics, it's like we don't need more, especially not in our.
Yeah, I've told there's a, I forget what, Vital Proteins, I think, is like everyone loves it because they're like it's the most common. Jennifer Aniston promotes it, but it was literally just recalled for microplastics. And that's a huge thing. You want to make sure that what you're using is being tested, that the clinical trials that are being done, first of all, clinical trials are also hard to come by because they're really expensive for companies to do. It costs them a lot of money with very little, like not a lot of people care about it. I guess is like the bottom line. It's like low yield, very high input, like very high investment for a company. So for a company to do that, um, you're going to wind up seeing a lot more fruit in what you see coming from the product and the customers and the worldwide, the patents and the awards coming from it, because they've taken the time out to do things like that. um, and also it's important to think about like, okay, if I want to increase, the moisture in my body, the hydration in my body, like specifically coming from like hyaluronic acid and chondroitin sulfate along with the type 2, you don't want to interfere with that by putting like heavy metals and microplastics into your body. The hyaluronic acid that should be in the formula, like of your liquid collagen, it actually, the one that we're talking about specifically, the BioCell, and we'll get to that in a little bit too, guys. I saw that there is a brand you found to be the healthiest. That actually increases the absorption in your body by 6,000%, which is like a wild number, but
Yeah.
that's what came out in clinical trials. And the presence of that, so like that almost acts like a hyaluronic acid in your body acts like a water reservoir, like it holds on to moisture a lot more. And what it also does, like the breakdown of hyaluronic acid is what aging looks like. Like the breakdown of it is exactly what aging is. When you see someone aging, they're losing their hyaluronic acid and their collagen, right? Also, the presence of hyaluronic acid too, um, it helps to inhibit the production of hyaluronidase, which is the enzyme that breaks down like the scaffolding, like it breaks down the skin, it breaks down hyaluronic acid. So there's like twofold things happening here. Like I know your question was about like, microplastics and things that are being recalled, but it's just important to note that too. Like all these other things, these three components that I was talking about in the formula, you want to make sure that those are present too, because of just how important they are with not only the production of collagen, but also holding on to hydration in your skin structure. And then of course you have like chondroitin sulfate. Oh, also, sorry, hyaluronic acid is really important with the sufficient like joint lubrication. So of course I'm thinking of my shoulder. I had tore my labrum in a car accident, and I felt like for so long, like my shoulder felt weaker. I felt like, I feel like I can't like rotate it as much. I'm telling you, like with just I increased my dosage up to like 2 to 3 times a day, and I'm full overhead extension, like full lifting, like powering through like overhead movements. And I know that because of the lubrication that I'm providing for this area with, the connective tissue, the cartilage, all of that, it's helping it heal. Like, so if there's any surgery, we're totally going off the rails here, but like, oh my gosh, surgery, like any type of recovery, like collagen is the number one thing I would recommend for anyone to take when it comes to joint support, any type of like ligaments, bone, anything like that, to help heal it and lubricate it and get back to like full range of motion.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of people who, have had past injuries that are just kind of
Mhm.
hear about knees all the time,
Oh,
shoulders
big
all the
one.
time, hips, like the spine, so many things.
Mhm.
Like, okay, these are just like I whenever I squat down, like my knee cracks so much, or like put my arm
Yeah.
over my shoulder cracks, and it's like, what can I do about that? And I think that there's so many things that you can do in the gym, but like internally, when we're talking about like really making the most of supplementation, adding in that collagen is like super, super helpful.
Mhm. It really is. It's pretty incredible. The amount that's like naturally found in your, like people think like, oh, it's just, collagen's in my skin, which we're talking about, like your scaffolding, your glue,
Right.
but like in your connective tissue, like someone else was saying, like in your fascia, like it is all over the place. So if that really starts to decrease in the production, like you're going to have, it's the one supplement that has to be supplemented. Like vitamin C, I rarely, like I'll supplement with it in the summer for added internal protection, like omegas, like I can get that from my nutrition. It's something that I don't struggle with getting from my nutrition. When it comes to something like collagen, I'm like, I can drink bone broth a lot. I'm not really munching on like eggshells or fish skin. You know what I mean? That's kind of hard to do when you're like trying to get a lot in your
Right.
system. So, yeah.
Then who is it like appropriate for when we're talking about like supplementing collagen? Like at what season of life is it appropriate to supplement collagen?
Mhm. So many. My one favorite is pregnancy.
Hmm.
I think everyone that is either trying to conceive or currently pregnant, that was like my most highly recommended thing that I needed to take. Like just think of what our bodies do. The round ligament pains were
Yeah.
like are like the worst. Then when you have to give birth and the things that are opening up and then like shrinking back to normal size, and even breastfeeding, like I'm just like all the things I'm thinking of, running around chasing your kids, like you want to be able to feel good. And like, obviously Mama Frog over here, my hero. So number one, I think every single woman that is trying to conceive, pregnant, breastfeeding, they should be taking a collagen supplement. I think also when you're over the age of 25, you should be taking it. There are even a lot of like, listen, there's no judgment here. Like I chose like not to go the Botox route.
Hmm.
People that do now, I have a lot of clients that still love their Botox, and they have been told by their injector, what are you doing? Did you get another like treatment in between? The collagen holds on
Mm.
to what they're doing for an extended period of time, which is not great for the injector because they want them to keep coming back. But when I tell you that I've had so many clients tell me, they're like, it holds on to my Botox. Like, this is fantastic. Like, I don't have to go as much. People that are, heading into menopause, or even postmenopause, like because of how much estrogen you're losing, because of the less cartilage you've been using your body, and these joints and these knees, you've been using them for how many years? Like your body needs to be able to have the support. It's also going to be helping with even like just circulation in general. I have a client who's an older gentleman. He's 70 years old, and he used to get a lot of bruising and semi anemic, but
Hmm.
he would get a lot of bruising, just like randomly hit himself. And it was just this giant thing. And he was so self conscious of it. And after taking the collagen, he has no more of those spots on his skin. His skin looks it's like a new arm, like it completely healed. So there are a lot of benefits from every single age, starting at 25, I think, for liquid collagen. And then what I mentioned before about surgery, any type of injury that you've had, whether you're an athlete. I have a lot of athletes using this. I have so many personal trainers that are on this collagen and have a lot of their clients on it. One of my other gym owners, he has a client that is 73, and he sent me a video of her pushing a sled with 100 pounds on it
I love it.
last week. And she's on the liquid collagen. I'm like, this is the best to see. Like that is like literally seeing the product work like in action, which is my favorite.
That's awesome. So how long does it take, like if someone were to start taking collagen, like how long do you typically say that it takes to really like see a difference?
I mean, listen, if you are completely like void of collagen, you haven't been supplementing with it, you'll feel a difference in a couple of days. Like the gentleman that I have that was in his 70s having those spots on his arms, it was within a week those spots were clearing up. I've had people that have that are recovering from an injury or surgery, and they're recovering so much faster than anyone else that's had typical surgery or a similar surgery and didn't take anything to assist them, in their recovery. So it could be anywhere as a week. You could start to see actually, yeah, the melasma. I've seen a ton of women post pregnancy that struggle with a lot of like skin discoloration. Melasma has completely gone away. But I always tell people, no matter what, like 12 weeks, like a lot of people they want to give something a shot. I didn't see anything,
Mhm.
like anything, like a new workout program, a new diet, like not diet, I mean nutrition, like a new nutrition plan, a new hair product, like a shampoo. You have to give your body time. Like it needs at least 12 weeks is my minimum always. So no matter what, like 3 month plan is what I'm going to put a client on. And they almost always, I don't know if there's ever been a time where someone has said to me, I didn't see or feel a difference. Whether it's the new baby hair is sprouting up, their skin's clearing up, under their eyes aren't as dark, their skin is glowing, or their joints are feeling better, going to see a
Yeah.
difference. Bloating
Yeah, that's awesome.
too. Bloating has gone down. That's another big one, which you wouldn't expect. Some people get bloating from collagen, but depends on the quality.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think it really does matter. And going back to what you were saying earlier about nutrient absorption, I think this is something that people don't really realize. They think that like they can, eat A, B, and C, and then they're like, I'm gonna supplement, this, this, and this, and I'm gonna make up for what I'm not getting in my
Yeah.
diet. But the fact is, if your gut health is not very good, your body is literally not going to absorb the supplements that you're
Yep.
taking. So like really makes so much sense to me, and this is something that like I've definitely adopted in my routine of like really trying to get to the root of gut inflammation and gut issues first, because then I know the supplements that I take are actually going to be effective. Like I'm
Yep.
actually going to a difference. And so it's like this is sort of like it's almost like a 2 for 1 where you're taking the collagen and it's healing your gut and you're also able to absorb the collagen itself. Yeah.
100%. And I think like, and it's like, do you really want to be peeing out the vitamins that you're taking? Like, do you want to waste that money? I don't.
No.
Like the supplement industry is like one of the most like good and bad. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much out there that's like, this is the best, this is the best. And honestly, I mean, I know it's hard for everyone to do their research, to do their due diligence and what they're looking into. Obviously, you have people like Nora that like know hands that she's been a career athlete. Like this is your life for like forever. And when you have someone that like values the research, values their what they're putting into their body, how they're treating their body, how they live their life, that's someone that you can truly, listen to and take their advice from. I know that it's hard to like see who to trust, but when you have someone that's, like you, that's been doing this for your entire life, and you have, people that trust you and love you, I think that that's a beautiful thing, and it makes life a lot easier for the general population.
And I think like we're all victims like being bombarded by marketing,
Totally.
this thing, that thing, and the other thing. It's like, we just never really
I know.
know what exactly is true. And I think it's just important to be able to like tune into your body and say, okay, how am I feeling after 30 days on this supplement, and just be consistent with it, because again, that's how you're going to get the most bang for your
Yeah.
buck. How am I feeling after 60 days? How am I feeling after 90 days? And, if it genuinely doesn't make a difference, then like move on to
Yeah.
something else, right? So yeah, I think that's all really important. That's like the conversation that I have all the time with supplements. People ask me a lot, like, what supplements do you take? And I'm like, I take quite a few supplements, but most of them I've been taking for a long time. I typically only introduce one at a time.
Mhm.
So I
So
see the
you can
difference.
see, yeah, which is this really working or not?
Yeah,
Right.
and I think you want to like really jump in with both feet, and they're like, well, I want to take like this and this, and I want to take them all at once. It's like, well, you're never going to know what
Right.
really you versus like what maybe wasn't as efficacious as like the other one. So I think it's important to introduce one at a time. So
And
um
also we're bio individual. Like
right.
what's great for one person may not be what the other person needs.
Yep.
Just knowing like are you really, a lot of things is like, are you mineral deficient? There's we could go off on a tangent forever, but on this topic, I think like all around finding a good quality. I don't think there's anyone that like doesn't need collagen. But as far as like a lot of the other supplementation, it can get like tricky here and there to see like what people
Yeah.
need.
Absolutely. So talk to us about the liquid biocell. So the collagen that you recommend, that I've been on for several months now, and that we're recommending to our clientele.
Well, we went over a lot of it. Like I know in the beginning we like didn't mention that it was biocell, but these are all the things that I had to like dive into to research for myself, because I wanted to see clinical trials. I have a nerd brain and I kind of like that stuff, so I wanted to see for myself what is being increased, where is this coming from. I loved the fact that type 2 hydrolyzed undenatured, which means like it's in its natural state, but it's still super low molecular weight to be able to be absorbed through the bloodstream. They're from the sternal cartilage of a chicken, antibiotic free chicken, by the way. So like they're non-GMO, they've never been pumped with anything. They're from some of the most humanely raised chicken farms across the United States. And a lot of times they will even like if they're when they it's a chicken farm, like to eat. So like parts of the chicken that they would like the sternal that they would not typically like they're not harming any chickens is what I'm trying to say. They also do not touch blood in the process, so it's very clean the way that they're extracted, way that it is extracted. And it is the only bioidentical nutraceutical in the world, which I absolutely love. So nutraceutical meaning it is medical grade, but it is holistic, so it's not prescribed. Does that make, so like, that makes sense? So a nutraceutical is something that's going to be so powerful, like as if you would be getting it from, a medical office. We do have them in a lot of med spas, practitioners, chiropractors offices, acupuncture, pain management facilities, things like that, because of how well the product works. They've 7 international patents, and we're in I believe 7 different countries now. Not, we just added 2 more this past week in 9 different countries. So I'm beyond excited. I've been using it for 6 years, and I've been educating for 6 years on the power of liquid collagen, or just collagen in general. I like to do a lot of like the educational part of it because it's what I love. I'm not a teacher or anything like that, but I do love helping people understand in like layman's terms, like why something would be good for them. That's where my whole love for nutrition and learning about the whole body in general stemmed from, was just, you're telling me this is good for me. Why? How is it working? Like, it's just like how my brain works. I don't like to be told things. I like to learn it for myself and understand it that way. So that's that.
So now there's a couple different kinds. I have been using the beauty. There's like a couple different options.
Yeah.
There's different flavors. So can you just like quickly touch on
Yeah.
that, and then I'll talk about what we're doing on
Yeah,
Saturday.
sure. So there's a couple different formulas. We have Beauty, which has 18 different ceramides for the added beauty. You can understand. Helps to, remember what I was saying before about hyaluronic acid. So it helps to inhibit the production of hyaluronidase, which is the enzyme that breaks down the skin's aging. So that's what those ceramides are doing. And there's whole food vitamin C in the product, in the liquid formula itself. So the beauty I recommend to a lot of women, but there's also another formula called Life. It just has 15 ceramides instead of the 18. But again, whole food vitamin C. Life, like that's the one my husband loves because he feels weird drinking something that says beauty on it. You know, then we also have one called Immune, which has added zinc, 6 grams of zinc, and it has elderberry in it as well. So a lot of people love to take that during cold and flu months, just to give their body an extra boost. It tastes so good. And then we have Pure. Now, Pure is recommended to certain people that can't have any extra calories whatsoever. It's like zero carb, 0 calorie. Sometimes it's for like gastric bypass surgery or the sleeve, where they're very, very limited. Sometimes keto diets, like if someone, I've actually had some cancer patients, they need to be on 0 carb, everything, zero sugar. So they'll take the Pure. And across the board, all of these formulas have the main formula, which is the patented liquid biocell collagen HA matrix, which is the type 2 hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate, and then the vitamin, well, minus the Pure, the vitamin C, the whole food vitamin C added to it. But again, across the board, you're going to get the same results. There's just different formulas gearing towards a different demographic.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So on Saturday, coming up Saturday, I will be coaching, which is unusual. I don't typically coach Saturdays anymore, but
I wish I was going
from
to
7,
be there.
I know. So from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're going to be doing samples of this collagen. So even if you're not coming to class, please feel free to come and stop by and try out some of the collagen. We're going to have Pure, we're going to have Life, and we're going to have Beauty. So we'll have those 3 options for people to try out to see if they like it. And then, we'll be able to, we're also offering $25 off and free shipping for anyone who orders through us.
That's awesome. Yeah, and all you really need, yeah, just like, I'm sure you can have like an intake form. We'll supply the intake form there for you guys to have. And then in addition to that, maybe Nora, if you, I don't know how we would make that. I don't know how we would do it, but if you contact Nora or whoever comments on this, like there are other additional resources that we can send to you. If it's something that maybe you hopped on, you weren't able to stay the entire time, but you'd still love to like read up on it. We have plenty of resources to send to you as well. So I'm not sure how we can do that from this, but we can
Yeah,
figure it out. I mean,
if someone
after.
DM too. Like we'll send this video out in on a YouTube link at some point either today or tomorrow to all of our members who may have missed this. And if anyone wants, we'll include additional information in that email. But if anyone is not on our email list and still wants that information, send me a DM and I can get that information to you.
That sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on. This was
Thanks
fun.
for coming,
Do it
Liz.
anytime.
Yeah,
And I wish
I'm
that I was going to be up there. Unfortunately, we're
I know
hours and hours apart from each other.
still in New York, but that's a long drive.
I
So
know.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, and everyone have an amazing day. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Bye.